So this year's NBA trade deadline was really eventful. There were a lot of rumors leading up to the day, as many teams were looking to improve or rebuild their roster. Some teams, like the Lakers and Knicks, opted not to trade their assets and instead focus on the buyout market. But today, we are going to go over every trade that happened during this year's trade deadline. But before we do that, please leave a like and hit the subscribe button as it helps grow the channel even further. And without further ado, let's get into the trades. So to start the day, a 4-team trade was announced involving the Kings, Bucks, Clippers, and Pistons. In this trade, the Kings received Dante DiVincenzo, Trey Lyles, and Josh Jackson. The Bucks received Serge Ibaka, 2 future second-round picks, and cash. The Clippers received Rodney Hood and Semi Ojeleye, while the Pistons received Marvin Bagley Jr. There were many trade rumors involving DiVincenzo during the span of his 4-year NBA career. And being in Sacramento, he gets a fresh start with a struggling team who is in desperate need of his defense. With Serge Ibaka, the Bucks get another shooting big that they can play great alongside Giannis. This season, Ibaka is shooting around 39% from behind the arc, and he should fit right in after Brook Lopez had gotten injured. The Clippers received 2 role-playing wings in Rodney Hood and Semi Ojeleye, and the Pistons receive another young talent in Marvin Bagley III. Bagley's time in Sacramento has been filled with injury and controversy. It was obvious that he would be traded, as him and his father had spoken openly about him wanting to be. Hopefully in Detroit, Bagley can become what he was drafted to be and not only be known for being the guy that was drafted before Luka Doncic. After this trade, it was announced that the Raptors were trading Goran Dragic and 2 protected first-round picks to San Antonio in exchange for Thaddeus Young, Drew Eubanks, and a second-round pick. It is expected that Dragic will be bought out by the Spurs and will head to a new team after. Thaddeus Young gives the Raptors another player that they can rely on the defensive end when Siakam, Scotty Barnes, or OG Anunoby sub out of the game. The next trade announced to the media was a blockbuster. James Harden and Paul Millsap would be traded to the 76ers for Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, and 2 first-round picks. The 2022 first-rounder will be unprotected, and the 2027 first-round pick is top 8 protected. James Harden had grown frustrated with playing in Brooklyn and playing for the Nets this season, and demanded a trade this week. Now he joins Joel Embiid and puts the Sixers in championship contention. After last year's playoffs, where the Sixers were eliminated by the Atlanta Hawks, Simmons has been wanting out of Philadelphia. However, his public frustration with the team has led to some rifts with teammates like Joel Embiid. He has not played a game yet this season due to his mental health, so it will be interesting to see what he looks like when he steps back on the court. The Nets also gain more depth by adding Seth Curry and Andre Drummond. Curry provides excellent shooting, which they have been missing since Joe Harris's injury, and Drummond also provides a spark off the bench. The Celtics acquired Spurs guard Derek White in a swap for Josh Richardson. Both guards have been fairly inconsistent for both teams, and hopefully a change will be good for them. The next trade involved the Pacers and the Suns. In this deal, the Pacers sent Torrey Craig to the Suns for Jalen Smith and a second-round pick. This is Craig's second year in a row where he was traded at the deadline to the Suns. He was a key part in last year's Suns team that made the NBA Finals. Jalen Smith was the 10th pick in last year's NBA draft, but after an underwhelming rookie year, the Suns decided to move on from him. The Pacers gained another young center in this deal. It was then announced that the Hornets were trading for Montrezl Harrell. In exchange, the Wizards would acquire Vernon Carey and Smith. This will be Smith's second stint in Washington. But the Wizards weren't done making moves, as they also traded for Kristaps Porzingis from the Dallas Mavericks. In exchange, the Mavericks received Spencer Dinwiddie and Davis Bertans. These trades helped free up cap room for the Wizards while providing the Hornets and Mavericks with valuable pieces to pair along their young stars. And finally, for the last trade of the deadline, the Celtics have traded Dennis Schroeder, Enes Freedom, and Bruno Fernando for Daniel Theis. It is expected for the Rockets to buy out or waive either Enes Kanter, Bruno Fernando, or both. The Celtics also let go of Dennis Schroeder, who they just signed this offseason on a 1-year deal. And those were all the trades that happened in this year's NBA trade deadline. It has been NBA Now, and until next time, I'm out.